If you feel like the clutter is slowly taking over, you are not alone. As someone who used to struggle with feeling so incredibly stressed by all the piles and clutter on all of the surfaces, I can honestly say decluttering has made things so much simpler for me. As a mom of two, and as someone who's helped thousands of people declutter their homes, these are some super easy things you can declutter that will make a big impact in your home, but it will still feel very manageable to achieve. Let's go through it. Any expired food from your kitchen cupboards, that can be such an easy win. You can just quickly go through your cupboards, have a quick look at the dates and throw out anything that's not good anymore because you're not gonna eat that anyway. And while we're here, also look through your fridge. Any old or spoiled items, any unused condiments, anything like that can really go from your fridge. So have a look in there. I really like to go through every single week before we get our food shop and just have a quick browse through. I will throw away anything we don't need anymore, anything that's, pretty much empty, anything like that. Give it a quick wipe while you're there. And it just feels so nice to have a fresh space in there. A few things that also accumulate a lot in the kitchen are plastic bags. And these can come from so many different things because when we get our food shop, at least here in the UK, a lot of the items are packaged in plastic bags. We do recycle them, and also plastic carrier bags. I used to be someone who had a big plastic bag full of bags, and I would keep that just in case because maybe one day I need a whole bunch of bags. And of course they can be useful, but you do not need to keep that many. I do not keep bags of bags anymore, so those can be really good to recycle. I take all of our plastic bags to our local supermarket. We have a big Tesco that does all the plastic recycling, like soft plastics. That can be a good place to take all of those. And also go through your reusable carrier bags. Reusable carrier bags are obviously so much better than just having a lot of plastic ones, and obviously they're very useful, but again, we don't need hundreds of them. Having just a fair few that you use for your shopping, that's plenty. And I keep all of ours in one basket in a cupboard under the stairs so that we know where to get them. We know they're easily accessible when we go shopping, but we don't keep a ton of them. Tons of spare towels or even kitchen towels, kitchen cloths, all of these items we can go through and get rid of anything that's not really usable anymore, anything that's way too old, because obviously we want to keep things hygienic as well. And so getting rid of these and maybe replacing them once in a while can be a good idea. And I also used to keep way more towels, but I realized we don't really need that many. Nowadays, we keep about 2 per person. We are 4 people in the house, and we have a few hand towels in the downstairs toilet that obviously we use and guests use, but that's about it. And our airing cupboard is quite clear because of that, but I don't feel the need for any more than that. Any empties or half-used products in our bathrooms that we don't really use, we don't really need, all of those items can go. I realized when I was doing our massive declutter in our home that we used to have so many half-empty products that we had bought a long time ago. For some reason, we stopped using them, probably because we didn't really enjoy using them. Sometimes we had bought new products to replace those, but for some reason I still kept the old ones, and that's why our bathroom cabinets were so full. So any of those empties or half-empty products you're not really using, those can go. Expired medicine is also one that we really need to go through because for one, we're not going to use them anymore, and for two, they can actually be dangerous for us if they're expired, right? So I have this basket where we keep all of our medicine. It's up in a cupboard out of reach of the kids especially, and I like to go through that once in a while. And even I'm surprised at how many expire so quickly. Or maybe you have medicine that you treated your child with a few months ago, now you don't need it anymore, or it's expired. All of those can go, and you can clear up space and make sure what you have in there is actually good to use. You can also go through cleaning products. We generally have a ton of cleaning products that we don't really use. I know I used to, and I used to feel like having a clean home means I need to have a ton of cleaning products. I actually have a surface spray that I use in the kitchen. I use on all the surfaces around my home, and then I have a bathroom spray that I use on all the bathroom surfaces and mirrors and windows. And those are my 2 main sprays. That's pretty much all I use. And having less means that when I go around our home to clean, it's so much faster. I don't need to carry a full bucket of products. I only take my spray and maybe a few cloths, and then that's it. I'm good to go around the home. So get rid of any products you're not really using, maybe products you've tried in the past and they haven't worked great, but you still kept them. get rid of anything that you don't truly need in there. And also go through your makeup. So anything that's old, anything that we don't use, anything that's expired, because makeup has quite a short expiry dates too. Like if you look on some of the products, it can say up to 6 months from the moment you opened it, or maybe up to 12 months. It really depends on the product. For example, mascara has a shorter life. And so it's really important to keep on top of that and make sure what we're using is actually good to use on our face and our skin. Socks without a pair. I mean, if we have a whole bunch of mismatched socks, what is the point? We're probably not gonna wear them anyway, unless maybe it's kids' socks and we don't really care. But for the most part, if we have mismatched socks, there's no point in keeping them. We can easily declutter them. Or I know some people love using them for dusting, so that's an option. But just make sure your underwear drawer is clear of any mismatched socks, because that makes it easier to get dressed in the morning too. And while you're looking at your underwear drawer, let's have a look at all the bras and underwear and socks that maybe have holes in them, or they're just not in good condition anymore. So anything like that that's really worn out, that you don't enjoy wearing anymore, those are items you can easily get rid of as well. Then looking at shoes, I really like to think, is this pair comfortable? Does it fit me properly? Do I wear it regularly? And if the answer is no, then that pair of shoes needs to go. If it's still in good condition, then I might try to sell it. But anything that's too worn out, anything that's rarely used, those are kinds of shoes that we can simply get rid of, because obviously we don't have a need for them. And they're just cluttering up our space without having a use. Then we can look at jackets and coats. So anything that's too worn out, anything that, maybe it doesn't fit anymore, maybe we just don't enjoy wearing anymore, then those jackets and coats can go. Having a smaller capsule wardrobe of things that we actually enjoy wearing, that's going to be so much more helpful for you getting dressed in the morning. I find that when I open my wardrobe and it's things in there that I love to wear, it just makes me start my day on a much more positive note than opening it up and having a bunch of things that I don't really like. I put it on, I feel frustrated. That's just not fun to start your day like that. Bedding that you don't use. I used to have so much bedding for all the beds in our home, and I realized we don't use all of that bedding. It's usually maybe 1, maybe 2 bedding sets per bed that we use on a regular basis. So we have 1 that's on the bed in use, and then we have 1 spare that we keep in the wardrobes in each of the bedrooms. So that's when we put 1 in the wash, I have 1 to change. Anything extra, anything more than that, I find that I don't have a use for it. It's just gonna clutter up my space. And if you have a linen cupboard like I used to, which is stuffed with bedding and towels and all these things, this is a good place to start. Just declutter towels, declutter bedding, anything you don't use, and you will be amazed at how little you actually have a need for and how much space you can create in there. And when it comes to your living room, any old magazines or newspapers, anything like that, that maybe you have piles of around the living room, but you're not really reading, maybe they're really old and you just don't have a need for them anymore. Those are things we can easily get rid of and make space in our homes. I also like looking at my decor items, anything that's maybe outdated that I don't really love anymore, or items that we don't really use. With decor items, sometimes our style changes, sometimes we move place and then maybe the decor items don't really go with the new place, or sometimes we buy a lot of new things and we don't declutter the old. So it's really good to have a look at your decor items and see, is it something you enjoy looking at? Or is it something that just creates a lot of visual clutter that makes you feel more stressed? I also think it's good once in a while to go through the freebies and souvenirs and all of these little things that we receive sometimes from events or sometimes gifts. And if it's something special, if it's something you want to keep for the memory, then of course maybe make a memory box for it and keep it stored somewhere safe. But if it's something you don't really care for, then it might be a good idea to just get rid of those. They can really add up, these little freebies and souvenirs, and they can make lots of drawers feel really cluttered. It can make it harder to find the things we actually do have a use for, and so getting rid of those can be really helpful too. All the receipts or invoices, all of these things, obviously we don't need to keep them for a very long time, unless maybe it's like business expenses, but for a lot of them you can either digitize them, which is what I tend to do, or you can simply shred them, get rid of them, because you probably don't have a need for your Tesco receipt that you had from last week. I also like to go through any broken toys or trinkets or any of those little items that can really accumulate, and a lot of them tend to accumulate in my kids' toys baskets, and so I like to go through them. I have found in their Cheerios, I have found in their napkins. Your kids will put the randomest things in their toy baskets, so I like to go through them once in a while, make sure we get rid of any broken toys, those little birthday party toys that tend to get broken quite quickly. Those are all things that we can declutter. Arts and crafts supplies is also a good one to go through, because sometimes they dry up, sometimes they're broken, sometimes they don't work anymore. Sometimes it's pens and markers that have dried up. So it's really good to go through all of those supplies once in a while and get rid of anything that is not usable anymore, anything you don't need anymore, anything that maybe they don't enjoy using, anything you haven't touched in ages. Those are all good items to get rid of. So hopefully once you go through this list and declutter some of these items from your home, you should be feeling a bit better. Let me know where you are at in your decluttering journey, and I will see you in the next video.